The flashing red and blue lights made Marcus's heart skip. He pulled over, hands gripping the wheel, mind racing. He had seen traffic stops before, sure, but nothing prepared him for the sneer waiting at the window, the casual disdain in the officer's voice. License and registration, and don't move too fast. The officer barked, leaning close, his tone dripping with judgment. Marcus's pulse quickened, but it wasn't just fear. It was a simmering anger at the assumptions being thrown at him, assumptions based solely on the color of his skin. What the officer didn't know, what no one could guess in that tense moment, was that Marcus Davis carried more authority than the badge in front of him. And when that truth revealed itself, everything would flip, humiliation turning into a lesson that every witness on that street would carry with them. But that reveal was not yet. For now, Marcus was just another black man in a nice car, hands visible on the wheel, treated like danger simply for existing. The officer, badge reading Harper, walked slowly around the vehicle, pausing at the rear like he was inspecting a criminal scene. He tapped the trunk with his knuckles, as if to send a message, "I'm in control here." Cars slowed as they passed. A woman with a stroller stopped on the sidewalk, watching with widening eyes. A man at a bus stop pulled out his phone, already recording. Everyone knew how these scenes could go. Harper returned to the window with a smirk. "Where are you headed?" "And answer clearly," he added, making his authority feel like a threat rather than a question. "Work," Marcus replied calmly. "Work." Harper laughed under his breath. "Doing what? DoorDash? Rideshare? Security?" He said it with the confidence of someone certain they already knew the truth. Marcus did not flinch. "I work for the federal government." That answer, simple as it was, irritated Harper more than it corrected him. "Let me guess," Harper scoffed. "Janitor in a federal building?" Marcus didn't blink, didn't defend himself, didn't explain. Silence in that moment was stronger than rebuttal. The officer didn't like that. He yanked the door open, stepped out of the vehicle. Gasps erupted from a few people watching now. A teenage boy whispered to his friend, "Yo, he didn't even do anything." Marcus stepped out slowly, hands still visible. Harper shoved him toward the hood. "You think you're clever? You think you get to lie and make me look stupid?" The officer's voice rose with ego, not protocol. This was no longer a stop. It was humiliation. He pressed Marcus's hands to the hood with unnecessary force. "You people," Harper muttered under his breath, "always think you're more important than you are." Those words, "you people," hit harder than the grip on his wrists. Marcus inhaled through his nose, calm, contained, but the tension under his ribs burned like fire. Two more officers arrived. Sirens cut off. Doors slammed, boots hit pavement. "What's he being detained for?" one of them asked. "Non-compliance and possible false identification," Harper said quickly, lying without hesitation. Marcus lifted his eyes, studying Harper, not with fear, but with a quiet recognition of a man mentally documenting every violation. That calmness made Harper louder, harsher, angrier. "You think staying quiet makes you smart?" Harper snapped. "It just makes you easier to process." People around them watched with disgust now. Not at Marcus, but at the treatment. One woman spoke up. "Officer, he hasn't resisted. Why are you treating him like that?" Harper turned just enough to bark. "Ma'am, step back or I'll detain you too." The crowd recoiled, but their eyes stayed locked on the scene. Phones kept recording. Marcus could have ended this entire thing with one sentence. He could have handed over credentials that would have frozen every officer in place. But he didn't. He waited. Because sometimes, letting arrogance expose itself fully is the most powerful groundwork for justice. Harper shoved him again. "Tell me your real job or I'll take you in." Marcus finally turned his head just enough to speak, voice still calm. "I told you exactly who I am." Harper clenched his jaw, put him in cuffs. One of the other officers hesitated. "Are you sure?" I said cuff him. And that was the moment the escalation peaked, not physically, but narratively. Marcus didn't resist, didn't jerk, didn't argue. He simply said, with a composure that chilled the air, "You are making a career-altering mistake." Harper laughed. The arrogant kind of laugh of a man who thinks he is untouchable. Yeah, and what exactly are you going to do about it? Marcus didn't answer. He didn't need to, because the answer, the reversal, was coming. And when it arrived, it wouldn't be shouted. It would be documented. Official, irreversible. The cuffs clicked shut. Phones were raised higher. And the crowd, once just witnesses, now waited like an audience who knew they were watching the setup to a collapse. Harper leaned in close and whispered, "You're nobody." Marcus lifted his eyes, and for the first time, a thin, controlled smile appeared. That's the last incorrect assumption you make today. The stage was set. The power dynamics were drawn. The humiliation, intended for Marcus, was now silently circling back like a boomerang with steel edge. And in part two, it would strike. Marcus felt the muscles in his jaw tighten as the second officer, bigger, bulkier, with shaved head and an energy that screamed, itching for conflict, approached on the passenger side and yanked the door without warning. Door stays shut, Marcus said firmly, voice measured. "That's not how this works," the bulky one muttered, tugging again. "It is how the law works," Marcus replied, eyes forward. The first officer sneered, flashing a laugh that wasn't really a laugh. "Ah, we've got a lawyer now? You one of those internet know-your-rights preachers?" Marcus didn't answer. Silence, he knew, could be more powerful than argument. That silence poured gasoline on their ego. "Step out of the vehicle." The first one snapped. "For what articulated cause?" Marcus asked, tone still calm. "State the violation, or I remain seated." The first officer tilted his head like Marcus had just spit on his boots. "You want to do this the hard way, huh? You think that little attitude is going to protect you?" He leaned closer, close enough that Marcus could smell coffee and stale authority. "I said step out of the car." Marcus exhaled through his nose once, slow. Not fear, not panic, calculation. He unlocked the door, but did not open it himself. He stepped out carefully, hands visible, posture neutral. He spoke with intention, not loud, not timid, just precise. "For the record, I am complying under duress due to non-stated probable cause." The word record was like a slap. Both officers instantly scanned the inside of his car, searching for a phone, a camera, something recording. "I better not find a damn recording device." The bulky one grunted as he circled the rear of the car like a hyena. The first officer guided Marcus toward the trunk, but with that shove people use when they want to humiliate, not guide, he patted him down aggressively. Each motion less about safety and more about reminding him who thought they were in control. "You're lucky I'm not cuffing you already." The officer hissed near his ear. Marcus didn't flinch, didn't break, didn't swallow the insult with apology like they expected. That restraint, that controlled dignity, was the insult. The bulky officer returned to the front window, peering inside again. "What is this?" he barked. He had spotted the leather ID wallet, sitting near the console, the one Marcus hadn't reached for yet, because he knew exactly how that move could be misread. "It's identification," Marcus said flatly. "Oh, I bet it is." The bulky one laughed mockingly. "Probably your Uber certification or college ID." He reached in and grabbed it without asking, flipping it open with the arrogance of someone expecting to see something ordinary. Grocery card, weak job badge, nothing that threatens their power. His face paused, brows pulled, eyes scanned again, slower this time. He wasn't smiling anymore. The first officer noticed the silence. "What is it? What's he got?" The bulky one didn't answer immediately. He read again, this time aloud, with controlled disbelief. "United States Department of Justice." The first officer froze. "Say that again," he demanded. But the bulky one didn't repeat it. He just kept staring at the badge like it had just shifted the ground under him. Marcus finally spoke, low, even absolutely steady. "I told you, I am not the one you think I am." The first officer snatched the wallet and read it for himself, jaw slowly tightening as the reality clicked into place. The tone of the road changed. Their body language changed. Their breathing changed. Not because of respect, not yet, but because the thing they thought they were crushing was something that could crush them instead. The first officer, voice suddenly stripped of the arrogance it had moments ago, said in a stiff tone, "Why didn't you identify yourself sooner?" And Marcus, steady, unshaken, answered plainly, "Because you already decided who I was before I opened my mouth." Silence, not peaceful silence. The kind that fertilizes humiliation before it blooms. And that was only the beginning. The first officer's grip on the badge loosened, as if it had burned his palm. He swallowed before speaking again, this time searching for the tone he should have used from the beginning. "All right, let's talk this through." Marcus didn't move, didn't blink, didn't rescue them from the hole they dug. The bulky officer tried reclaiming authority with a gentler lie. This was just a routine stop, no disrespect intended. Marcus let the sentence hang there, exposed, dishonest, trembling under its own weight. Then he delivered a line that erased whatever illusion of control was left. "You place your hands on a federal agent without probable cause, and you recorded your own misconduct on your own dash cam." Instant blood drain, visible panic. The first officer blinked too rapidly. A man watching his career evaporate in real time. "Sir, we can resolve this without escalation," he stammered. Marcus stepped closer, not angrily, not theatrically, just enough to reverse the dynamic fully. "You escalated the moment you decided who you thought I was," he said, "and you doubled down when you acted on that assumption." The bulky one tried one last attempt at recovery. "If you just let us off with a warning." Marcus laughed once, cold, quiet, factual. "A warning," he repeated. "You shoved me, threatened me, and violated protocol, and you think the consequence is a warning?" The officers now stood like schoolboys waiting for expulsion. Marcus took the badge wallet back slowly and spoke with surgical precision. "Turn your body cams back on." They hesitated, then obeyed. "State your names." Rank, badge numbers. Loud enough for the record. Humiliation is loudest when silence cannot hide it. They complied, voices cracking as they identified themselves on camera. Marcus then pulled a thin black card from his pocket, the kind only a few people ever receive or recognize. He held up just long enough for them to see the embossed seal, the seal that means this report bypasses local chain of command and lands directly on desks that end careers. Both officers' breathing shifted into full fight or collapse panic. "Sir, please don't do this. We have families." The bulky one choked. Marcus didn't soften. "Then you should have thought of that before you gamble your badge on your prejudice." No yelling, no threats, just truth, and truth was lethal. He ended it with clinical finality. "This stop is now an incident report under federal review. Step back from my vehicle." They stepped back like men stepping away from an open grave. Marcus re-entered his car with unshaken composure. As he closed the door, he looked at them one last time. "You didn't stop a random driver tonight," he said through the open window. "You stopped the wrong one." He drove off, leaving them standing in their own collapse. Some people think abuse of power is safe when directed at those with no defense. The world is full of officers who gamble their authority on assumptions, until the day those assumptions land on someone who can rip everything away. Instant karma is not always loud. Sometimes it wears a badge too. But what the officers didn't know was that Marcus wasn't the only one recording that night. Across the street, a teenager on a balcony had captured the entire stop on his phone, and by morning, the footage was already viral.